Hello and welcome to part 2 of What's New in Business Central 2023 Wave 2. So the first area we're going to cover today is the faster setup data. Now just be aware that this has only been made available in 6 countries. So that's covering Australia, Canada, Germany, Netherlands, UK and US. So basically what this is, it's a new configuration package, and it's used whenever you create a new company and you're using the production setup data only. Now this configuration package is going to cover things like chart of accounts, business and product posting groups, inventory, job and VAT posting groups. But one thing it doesn't do now, because this is a UK version that I was using, it doesn't set up the localized versions of the reports. So we would normally have a UK or GB version of the invoice, so maybe further enhancements could be possible around this functionality further down the road. The next option is reserved from stock. Now what you'll notice here is that there's new fields on the sales details fact box, and that will show what requirements there are for items to be reserved and also what is reserved. So in this example you'll see then that the full quantity has been reserved from stock. Now this isn't only just available on your sales detail fact box, and you can view that as well on your document statistics page. Now there's another option as well, and that's the reservation worksheet, and this provides a list of all the demand versus what is currently available. An allocation policy can then be used, and you're given 2 options. So basic, that means you need to decide on shortages, or you can share equally between the demand. Now your suggestions of course can still be overwritten, and then you have the option to make your reservations. Another thing to note is that when using the report to create your warehouse shipments, there is also a new option where you can select whether you want reserve stock only, if it's full and partial, or full. Now bear in mind that this won't work when you're creating from a sales order, only from that specific report. Continuing on with the warehousing changes, there's a new option on the create pick, which you can use when you're creating the pick from the warehouse shipment, and this will give you in effect a pick summary. This will highlight items which are not going to be fully handled. Pickable quantity details are in the fact box on the right hand side, and these will display the warehouse entries whenever you drill down into those. Pickable quantity is determined by your bin status, any quantities that are reserved, blocked, serial or lot numbers as well. Now this option is always defaulted to off whenever you run the report, and just bear in mind it's not available whenever you're using the option from the pick worksheet. Now one other improvement is whenever you're adding warehouse employees. So what you can do here is there's a new action, and to add me as a warehouse employee, where you can either select all locations, or you can select individual locations and I'll insert them all in one go. Another new option again then is to pull the bin contents into an item journal, which is certainly useful if you need to get rid of a lot of stock all in one go. And what you can do here is you can filter by location, bin, item, and that'll create negative adjustments on an item journal, which you can just post then to reverse out stock all in one go. So more other enhancements then are where you can, whenever you're creating an item from your item catalogue, there are more fields added, which will make it easier. Your description is now visible on the drop down whenever you're looking at warehouse bins, and the posting preview for warehouse shipments and receipts will now handle multiple source documents. Still on the warehousing functionality, we have got the bin policy, where they've actually started to pull out more features now from the directed putaways and picks, which will certainly benefit those of us that would use the basic warehousing. So now you have the ability to use put away templates, bin ranking, and you can also start to use the min and max quantities on your fixed bins. Now on the location card, bin policies can be defined for put aways and picks. So for picking, you can now select from options based on default bin or bin ranking. And for put aways, you have the default bin or to use the put away template. So it's certainly giving users more options now whenever you're trying to decide what level of warehousing you want to start to use. Now, more warehouse options for production, assemblies and jobs. So inventory picks and putaways, they're now available on production output, consumption, assembly and job consumption as well. And these are split into separate actions on the location card, with the consumption fields having the following options. You can have no warehouse handling, warehouse pick optional, inventory pick movement and warehouse pick mandatory. But the output now still only has no warehouse handling or inventory put away. So again, it's giving you much more flexibility on how you're deciding to set up your locations. Moving on now to over receipts, which has been available on the purchase orders now for a few versions, and inventory putaways have now caught up, and you can start to use that functionality, and it's the same setup, nothing's different. One thing is though, you can again just specify it on your inventory putaway, and then whenever you post that, your order is then updated once it's posted. Inventory adjustments. So calc lines on physical inventory orders, you can now include items that you don't currently have or items that you've never registered before. So again, it's just a way of making sure that if you have no stock, that you actually do not have any stock, and it'll include that for you. And the inventory adjustment option from the item card can now be turned off using the new toggle on the inventory setup page. Now this option is one that I'll certainly be switching off, as the adjust inventory option is now multi-user, which is not a good thing in my opinion. Item variants. So similar to the functionality that we already have available for items, item variants can now be fully blocked, sales blocked and purchasing blocked. Now there doesn't appear to be any validation behind these fields, so you can still have item of an item variant even though you can select the sales blocked field. Now you will get errors if you try to enter that item variant on documents and journals, but it would be good just to have it if you're trying to block it initially, and make sure you've got all of that stock cleared off before you can physically block the item variant. Item reference, add it now to lots of journal lines, so you can see the list there where you've got your item, warehouse, manufacturing and physical inventory journals, so it's all available there. But the one feature I do like now is that there's a start and end date added onto the item reference table. Now certainly over the years that I've been a consultant, we've had to add that a couple of times for customers, so it helps them basically to have promotions where they would maybe keep the same item code but use different barcodes, and that means that for that promotion period all they're really doing is setting a start and ending date, and the system will know which barcode then to pick up. So again, it's a simple one, but I think it's a really good one. Print and scan barcodes. Now you have the option, which is available now from lists and cards, so it's your item reference, lot and serial number information, lists and cards, and it'll print the barcode onto like a Word document for you, but you have to have your GTIN filled in on that specific item. Now unfortunately it's not part of a transaction at the minute, and you can only do it from the lists and cards, but maybe they'll enhance that functionality again in future releases. Drill down on quantity shipped and quantity invoiced. Again, it's another simple modification but a really effective one, and just having that ability to drill down into those quantity post-it fields. So say for example you have a sales order, you can now drill down into the quantity shipped, and this will show you the post-it sales shipment lines for that specific document line. Now you may want to design a couple of extra fields onto that page because it'll show you the posted document number where you may want to see the order number instead, and you may want to include the posting date so that you can keep track of all of the individual transactions. But it's certainly going to make it more efficient for the user, in my opinion. Now, mobile app improvements. I haven't been able to try this out yet. I'm an Android user and I don't think the app has been updated yet through Play Store. But what you should be able to do is you should now be able to access worksheet pages. So if you tried to do this in the old version, you would have got an error asking you to either log on to your tablet or PC. You can use the Tell Me to search for pages and data. And you can also now start to use the camera if you want to scan for barcodes. A couple of areas yet to be released. VAT dates. They are going to have a VAT date from and VAT date to of their own. And this is going to give the users much more control over the VAT returns that they post the transactions into. Bank reconciliation using your Copilot. Not much information in this one yet, but the transaction matching will be AI, and there's going to be AI generated explanations on how remaining transactions can be matched. So look out for more information on this one once it's released in November. So once again, thanks for listening and see you soon. On a final note, thanks for listening. And for more detailed information on the new functionality released for Business Central, please visit our website at www.sysco-software.com, where more videos will be released over the coming weeks.